Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the McFarlane DC Multiverse, Zack Snyder's Justice League, Unmasked, Ben Affleck as Batman. Now this is based off Ben Affleck from the film Justice League in his tactical suit, but no mask. In the film, he had his mask off for quite a bit when talking to the other members. In the US, this is an Entertainment Earth exclusive. So let's take a look at the packaging here. As you can see at the top, 22 moving parts. McFarlane Toys got the Spawn logo there. Ages 12 plus. DC Multiverse Batman Unmasked from Zack Snyder's Justice League. One side of the package says Batman Unmasked from Justice League. The other side of the package simply says Batman Unmasked. At the bottom, there's a bunch of credits, and there is a barcode in case that helps anybody. And on the back side, here's Batman from the film. Looks like it's in black and white. And here are a bunch of other McFarlane DC Multiverse Justice League figures you should check out. So no further ado, let's open them up. And I did end up getting 3 of these figures, one of which to open and enjoy, one to keep unopened in my complete 6 and 7 inch unopened Batman action figure collection, and then a third one to take the head and put onto a suited body. I already have a body set aside for this purpose. Unfortunately, at Entertainment Earth, they only allowed somebody to order 2 at a time. So I had to make a separate order for a third one. I had to pay shipping twice for these guys. Very annoying, but I knew if I didn't get them now, there wouldn't be a chance later. Here's the unmasked version next to the standard version. 2 of the variants so far. Still trying to track down that Planet Chase variation. Alright, now that we got this figure out of the package, here he is with all his accessories laid out. He does come with a display stand, a collector's card, his gravity launcher, and a batarang. But before we take a look at the accessories, let's talk about and check out the actual figure. So this is the unmasked Batman from Zack Snyder's Justice League. It's supposed to be Ben Affleck with his mask off. So let's take a look at him. First of all, let's look at his head. The head sculpt is not bad, but it doesn't really look like Ben Affleck at all. It looks to me more like a generic comic style Bruce Wayne, and for my purposes, that's even better. I've seen some repaints of this figure where they added some stubble, some different shading on the face, maybe some gray to the hair, some brown, and it looks a lot more like Ben Affleck. I feel like the sculpt is under there, but McFarlane does kind of do a sloppy job with the paint jobs on their faces, and sometimes they don't come out like the actors. Like I said before, the hair, I think it should be brown with some gray on the sides. He should have some stubble here, a beard starting to grow. Going further down, he's on the exact same body as the tactical suit Justice League Batman. It's a very nice body, got the armor plating on top of the suit. Looks like double jointed elbows, double jointed knees. I like that all the armor plates have a little bit of damaging, some scuff marks on it. It's been through some stuff, some weathering. It's a very nice sculpt. There's different texture on different parts of the suit. Very nicely done. The cape is amazing. Look at the sculpt detail here. It is sort of plastic or rubber cape, but it's very soft, very posable, movable. It's almost like best of both worlds. It can move off as much as a cloth cape, but it stays stagnant like a plastic cape. So, very nice figure. Happy to finally have the exclusive. Looking forward to making my Bruce Wayne in business suit. And here's a closer look at his face. Like I said before, I think the Ben Affleck likeness was sort of lost, but it does look like a generic Bruce Wayne. Tell me what you guys think. Drop me a line in the comments below. And here are both these unmasked Batman figures with all their accessories laid out. Now let's look at his accessories, and let's start off with the boring stuff. He's got this display stand, typical McFarlane stand, black perfect circle, says DC at the bottom. He's got one peg for the peg holes on his feet. Very thin, very basic. Now let's look at his collector's card. This is Batman posed up from Zack Snyder's Justice League. It's pretty much in black and white. See Batman Unmasked from Justice League. On the back side, there's a little description. If you want to read that, go ahead and pause now. Here's this unmasked Batman's collector's card on the left. Next to the standard version of Batman's collector's card on the right. The standard version has a little more color to it. Now let's look at his batarang. It's 100% identical to the one that came with the standard Justice League Batman. Made of a little bit of a rubbery material. It's got a little give to it. It's got a sculpted line through the middle. Mine is a little bit bent for the packaging. Should be able to fix that pretty easily. I went ahead and took a cup of boiling water, threw this batarang in there, and voila, it completely snapped back into place. I didn't have to do anything else besides put it in the water, and it completely reverted back to the way it's supposed to be. And I now have 3 of these batarangs. I got 1 of these standard Batman, and then I got 2 of these unmasked Batmans, 1 to keep as is, and 1 to transplant the head. Eventually, I'm going to find the Platinum Chase variant edition of Batman, and I should have a 4th Batarang at that point. Here's this Batman holding and getting ready to throw the Batarang. Here's this Gravity Launcher. This is a difference from the unmasked version and the standard version. The unmasked one comes with this extra accessory. Now first of all, this thing is completely casted in black, and that kind of sucks. Loses a lot of the sculpting detail. This thing was not all black in the movie by any stretch of imagination. And for that matter, this wasn't even in the Justice League movie. I believe this is the Gravity Launcher he used in Batman vs. Superman when he had the armored suit on and was swinging Superman around. The one he should have come with is one with the wooden handle. That's the one he actually used in this film. I find this an odd choice. Welcome accessory to my Bat Armory. The handle has some nice sculpting detail on it. You can see some different mechanical parts here. And then we've got the actual sort of hook at the front here. Now, the hook should be silver. The rest just should be all kind of different colors. The fact that it's all black, it does kind of lose some of the detail, and that's a little bit disappointing. This is the Gravity Launcher he should have come with. I'm not certain which company this came with. Probably a Mattel figure. The paint job was also pretty bad on this one. It's all one color gray. But this is the actual Gravity Launcher he used in Zack Snyder's Justice League. I don't recall seeing the top one in that film at all. Here's this Batman holding the Gravity Launcher. Now they've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessories. Now let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, he's sitting at about 7.25 inches tall, which is going to translate to about 18.5 centimeters. Now let's look at his articulation. Start with his head here. Of course, it can rotate from side to side. He can look up and down about that far, not too bad. Can tilt his head from one side to the other, give him a good amount of personality. Shoulders on a ball joint, goes out more than 90 degrees, up, down, around, all that good stuff. He does have that McFarlane butterfly joint between his shoulder and chest area, just increase the range of motion here. Bicep cut below that, double jointed elbows below that. His wrist here, it can rotate, it's going to be hinged as well. Double ball joint his torso, one here in his mid area, can rotate around, go forward and back. Another one in his waist, also rotate around, go forward and back, giving him pretty good range of motion in his torso here. His legs, goes out about this far, not a ball joint, but a similar type concept. The rotation, not too bad. Then go forward about that far, back, not too much there. Double jointed knees below that. Then his ankle here goes forward and back. It can rotate, it can tilt and rock, and he has toe articulation. Now I did want to see if there were any differences between the standard Justice League Batman and the unmasked version. Of course, we all know the head is going to be different. One's a Bruce Wayne head, one's a Batman head. Besides that, 100% identical. No sculpting differences, no paint differences, nothing at all. I was a little concerned they were going to paint his neck flesh colored on this one here, but they didn't do that. That's going to be good for my purposes. Which one do you guys like better? If I had to pick just one, it would be this one, but I do like the unmasked version as well. Now to show you guys why I got 2 of these unmasked Batman figures to open, one of which is going to be kept as is, and one's going to have his head transplanted onto a suited body to have a Bruce Wayne in a suit. So I went ahead and dipped this figure into some boiling water, popped the head off. That does leave me with this extra body with no head. I had a couple of ideas what I might do with this. I might try to repaint this guy into all black and gray colors and try to use him as my Batman in standard outfit. It won't quite look right because of the armor pieces, but who knows if McFarlane's ever actually going to give us one of those things. Just a thought there. I went ahead and popped on a Mezco Batman vs. Superman Ben Affleck Batman's head on here. Looks pretty good. Not sure if this is what I'm going to do with this body, but just a couple different options. And doing something similar, I took the extra head from the Mezco Tactical Suit Batman from Justice League. This one has the goggles that move up and down, and I kind of made me a little makeshift Platinum Chase variant with the goggles up. just a substitute until I tracked down the McFarlane version. And I went ahead and popped on a Sovereign Knight Batman's head on this guy. This is another Mezco Batman, has a shorter eared cowl, kind of reminds me of the Ben Affleck Batman's head. I also popped on Mezco's Unmasked Ben Affleck head. The detail is considerably better on this one. Doesn't quite sit as far down in the neck as I'd like. I'm not going to use this for this body anyway. You can let me know what you guys think. Which head has the better detail? I'm going to go with the Mezco one on the right, but it's a little bit too small for this McFarlane body. And if I use this Mezco head, it's kind of like having all three different variations of this Batman already. And while we're on the subject of pulling figures' heads off, this unmasked Batman is going to look great holding the head from the standard Justice League Batman, as if he just took his helmet off. Now that I've shown you a few options of what I might do with that extra unmasked Batman body, that's not the real important thing. The important thing here is we're making a Bruce Wayne. I have had this body set aside for quite some time anticipating this unmasked Batman release. This is a Triple H Elite black suit body. I believe he came in a 2-pack. It was very important to me that I use a big, huge bruiser type body for the unmasked Ben Affleck. He's pretty big and buff for the film. Reminds me of the Dark Knight Returns type Batman. So I went ahead and popped off this Triple H head. I was hoping I could take the peg out with it, but these wrestling figures, their peg is sort of intertwined with the inside of the torso, so it's just simply not an option. So I went ahead and popped the head on here. A little disappointed with how it turned out. When you put it onto the peg, it sits way too far down, and it looks like he has absolutely no neck. I was disappointed because I used the same method and the same body for the Thomas Wayne Unmasked Batman, and it came out really good. Normally in this situation, I would just simply use the peg from the Justice League Batman body and put it onto this wrestling figure, but the way it's designed, it just does not work that way. So I'm going to have to find a way to raise the head up just a tad. I went ahead and put some sticky tack on top of the peg. The head is just sort of sitting there, and it's connected with the sticky stuff. Makes the head sit a little bit taller, which looks better, but I'm definitely disappointed this didn't come out quite the way I'd hope it would. I can still move the neck around and everything. It's just not sitting firmly with the ball from the peg inside the head. So there you have it. I've got my Bruce Wayne in a business suit. This is supposed to be Ben Affleck in civilian attire, but for me, this is going to be just a generic comic-style Bruce Wayne. I really do like how this turned out. So you put these two together, and you end up getting this. Now this most certainly is not the first time I've used this body to make a custom Bruce Wayne or another custom figure. In front of you are a bunch of different uses from this Triple H body. This here is a Mattel Unmasked Ben Affleck Bruce Wayne head. This is another Mattel Unmasked Bruce Wayne Ben Affleck head. This is the Mattel Multiverse Dark Knight Returns Old Man Bruce Wayne head. This is Mattel Total Heroes Old Man Bruce Wayne head from Batman Beyond. This is the McFarlane Justice League Tactical Suit Batman head. Triple H as is. Unmasked Thomas Wayne. And then here's an older Arnold Schwarzenegger head on here to make the Governor. Here are all the different Bruce Wayne figures I have in my collection. I've got a Bruce Wayne for every occasion. Some smaller 6-inch figures, some larger 7-inch figures. Between all these many Bruce Waynes, there's only, I think, 3 of them that are legitimate releases. The rest of them are all customs and kit bashes of some sort. And here's a shot of the McFarlane DC Multiverse, Zack Snyder's Justice League Batman collection so far. Looking forward to adding the 3rd one to the back unopened and in the front as well, the Platinum Chase variant. Here's Bruce Wayne doing research in the Batcave, and he's got Alfred right here next to him. Now to reenact a couple of scenes from the film. I'm going to start off by reenacting the tunnel scene. This Batman figure is in his tactical suit for the final battle of the film. Batman was in his regular suit in the tunnel scene, so I'm going to have to use this Batman to fill in. I really hope they offer a Ben Affleck Batman in his regular Batsuit. That is my biggest want from this line. I've wanted a 7-inch version of that for a long time. Fingers are totally crossed. McFarlane could easily make a darker one for Justice League, and then, as they love their paint variations, they can make a lighter paint variation and label it a Batman vs Superman figure. Fingers crossed, big want I have. McFarlane, please deliver. Our heroes take the Nightcrawler down into the tunnels. They're looking for Steppenwolf and his parademons. Steppenwolf here is interrogating these scientists and this janitor. He has the scent of the mother box on him. Our heroes look down from above. The Flash says, "Boy, I really miss Superman right now." Cyborg's dad interrupts, and Steppenwolf can smell the mother box on him. Cyborg is the first to go in and save his dad. Cyborg swoops down to save his dad, and the parademons get ready to shoot him. Wonder Woman drops down to save the day. And as Steppenwolf sees what's happening, Amazon! He challenges Wonder Woman to a fight. Then Batman and Flash end up coming down to join the fight. Flash pushing away the parademon. Batman tells Flash and Cyborg, "Just get these people out of here." Meanwhile, Wonder Woman is taking on Steppenwolf up top. And as things start to get hairy again, Batman calls for Alfred. "Alfred, I need the Nightcrawler." Of course, Alfred's here in the Batcave at the Batcomputer, diligently complies. And after a little while, Cyborg ends up taking over the Nightcrawler, firing a missile at Steppenwolf. Steppenwolf simply grabs the missile and lets it go into the ceiling. Then he boom tubes out of there. The Flash asks, what are we under?" "Gotham Harbor." And just when Gotham Harbor is about to flood the tunnels, Aquaman comes in and buys him a little bit of time to escape. And here are heroes and Alfred going up the ramp, about to load onto the Flying Fox and try to take on Steppenwolf. The unmasked Batman would be perfect for this scene. Now I want to reenact a Batmobile scene. Before I do that, I want to explain which one of these Batmobiles this Batman figure is going to fit into. Don't forget, this is a 7-inch scale Batman. He's got a rubbery cape on. If you were to remove his cape and put a cloth soft goods cape on, it'd make it a lot easier to put him in these vehicles. But he can still fit in as is. This is the Mattel Multiverse Justice League Batmobile. This is not the ultimate radio-controlled version. This one is a little bit smaller and better detailed. This one fits in perfect with the Mattel figures. And guess what? He can fit in here with complete clearance. It was difficult guiding his cape through there, but I got it done. And here's the Mattel Multiverse Ultimate Radio-Controlled Justice League Batmobile. This thing is a little bit larger. This thing will scale up a little better with McFarlane figures. I always thought it was a little bit too big for the Mattel figures. This thing is a fantastic, unique piece. It's radio controlled through an app on your phone. There's a camera so you can see through Batman's point of view. It has all kind of sounds. The car will raise up, gun will move. Very impressive piece, but crazy expensive. And I must say, I tried and tried and tried, and I cannot get him to fit in there low enough to shut the top. It's not even close. I will say the smaller Multiverse Batmobile is roomier on the inside than the Ultimate Radio Controlled version. So if you're trying to find a Batmobile to pair with this guy, that's the one. Now, back to the Mattel Multiverse non-radio controlled Batmobile. Simply because this is the one that Batman fits into. I do prefer the size of the other one with the McFarlane figures, but I simply can't get Batman to fit in there. Just before the end of the film, it's driving down the street, and before long, the parademons start to swarm him, and they're literally tearing his car apart. And just when it looks like Batman is being overrun and is starting to give up, then the entire Justice League comes to save Batman. They turn the tides and go offensive against Steppenwolf and his parademons. And here's Aquaman riding on the Batmobile, just like in the film. Now before we move on to the next scene, let's check him out next to a couple of other Justice League and DC Cinematic Universe vehicles for the 6-inch scale. Here he is next to the Nightcrawler. The Nightcrawler is part of the Mattel Justice League Talking Heroes line. It accommodates 6-inch figures, but on the smaller end of 6-inch, there's no way in hell this guy's going to fit in there. And just a side view shot. He will sit in the seat, but you'll never come even close to shutting the lid. Here's this Batman next to the Flying Fox. This Flying Fox was part of the Mattel Basic line. I believe it was a Walmart exclusive. This thing is a huge vehicle, but in all reality, for it to be scaled up with Batman, it'd have to be at least 5 times bigger. and a little bit more of an aerial view so you can just see the magnitude of this thing. And just like the Nightcrawler, you can get him to fit in the cockpit, but you'll never shut the lid. And here he is, next to a couple of Mattel basic Batmobiles from Batman vs Superman and Justice League. These things are definitely too small for him. They are for 6-inch scale. They're very basic, but they're also very affordable as well. Here's Batman standing in front of the multiverse, non-radio controlled Batmobile. This thing's a pretty good fit for him. Here's the Justice League taking on Steppenwolf, just like in the final fight in the film. We've got Steppenwolf fighting Wonder Woman and Aquaman, Cyborg in the back with a mother box, Flash running around, bunch of parademons in the background, and of course, Batman up top. And as Superman comes to save the day, Steppenwolf hits him with his axe and does absolutely nothing. And here's a shot of the heroes together on top of a building, just like at the end of the film after they're victorious. The goggles up Batman would be perfect for this scene. Those were all some scenes I shot when I did the review on the regular version of the Justice League Batman. And sure enough, I'm finally able to put the unmasked Batman with the team as they're entering the Flying Fox. Now let's check them out, next to some other action figures. Starting off with some other McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here he is, next to the standard version of the Justice League Batman. Looking forward to tracking down the Platinum Chase variation with the goggles up as well. And here he is, next to the black suit Superman from the Justice League line. Here are all 6 members of the team from Zack Snyder's Justice League. And here is all the figures I have from McFarlane's DC Multiverse Zack Snyder's Justice League collection. I'm still missing about 4 figures. Still trying to track down the red and blue Superman, the Platinum Chase variant Batman with the goggles up, the armored version of Darkseid, and then the upcoming rumored Speed Force Flash. Swap out Darkseid for Wonder Woman, and we can compare them to their Mattel counterparts. Mattel didn't make a Darkseid because, frankly, in the Whedon cut, he wasn't in any way, shape, or form. And here are their Mattel counterparts. I've said it before, and I'll definitely say it again. The Mattel figures are to the McFarlane figures as Whedon's Justice League is to Zack Snyder's Justice League. Inferior in every way. And here he is, next to McFarlane's The Suicide Squad collection. These guys are also from the DC Cinematic Universe. I still need to track down the Unmasked Peacemaker. Then, next to Arrow. Arrow is the only McFarlane DC Multiverse live-action figure that's not from the DC Cinematic Universe. Here are all the different Bruce Wayne as Batman figures McFarlane has made in their DC Multiverse collection. And I guess technically, these guys are also Bruce Wayne as Batman in one way, shape, or form. Here are all the different unmasked variants McFarlane has released. We have Shriek, Batman, Thomas Wayne Flashpoint Batman, and Bloodsport. Looking forward to tracking down the unmasked Jason Todd and unmasked Peacemaker. Here he is, next to Mattel's DC Multiverse Unmasked Batman. He isn't in the tactical suit. This guy was a Toys R Us exclusive, but you can definitely see how much better McFarlane's unmasked head is than Mattel's. And a closer look at their 2 different head sculpts. Neither one really looks like Ben Affleck. McFarlane looks closer. They both look like a generic Bruce Wayne, which for my purposes is quite a bit better. Now let's check him out, next to some other Batman figures from Justice League in their tactical suits. Here he is, next to Mattel's DC Multiverse offering. And Mattel made a second one in their DC Multiverse collection. This one came with the ultimate radio-controlled Batmobile. Mattel also made a basic 6-inch, smaller Justice League tactical suit Batman. Mafex also made one, and it's quite a nice figure. Mezco also made one and absolutely killed it. Here he is, next to a DC Direct Unmasked Batman from the Arkham City collection. Most of my Unmasked Batman figures, I took their heads off and made different various Bruce Waynes. I did keep an extra of this figure though. Now let's check him out, next to all my other various Bruce Wayne figures. Here he is, next to some Mafex style, smaller 6-inch scale Bruce Wayne figures. They're from various bodies from Ben Affleck from Justice League, Christian Bale from Dark Knight Rises, Eggsy and Galahad from Kingsman. Then, next to a bunch of Mattel DC Universe Classics style Bruce Wayne figures. These are all made with Mattel DC Universe Classics Clark Kent body, and they all have different various officially licensed Bruce Wayne heads on top. Here are all my Bruce Wayne figures that are made from Mattel Wrestling Elite bodies. Some of these heads are definitely too small for the bodies. These three right here are all technically Ben Affleck heads. The first one is from Mattel Basic Unmasked Batman, and I think it looks a lot like Zack Snyder. The second one is from the Mattel DC Multiverse Unmasked Batman, and the third one is from the McFarlane Unmasked Batman. And like I said before, I really think this Mattel Basic Unmasked Batman head, it looks a lot like Zack Snyder. The hair, the stubble, definitely does way too small for this body. Here he is, next to a DC Direct, Arkham City, Bruce Wayne. And here's my entire collection of Bruce Wayne in civilian attire figures. Here he is, next to an Alfred that scales up pretty good with him. This is a Diamond Select Toys Gotham Alfred, 7-inch scale. And here he is, next to a child Bruce Wayne from Diamond Select's Gotham line. Now let's check him out, next to some action figures from different various companies, to see how he fits in, both scale and style-wise, in case you want to know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a McFarlane figure, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect, and work my way smaller. And I'm going to include as many Batman figures and DC Cinematic Universe figures during these comparisons as I can. Here he is with some of his McFarlane Toys brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane Toys, all 7-inch scale. Then, with some more McFarlane Toys, these are from different various video game properties. And now, next to some Jack-specific wrestling figures. And here he is, next to some DST or Diamond Select Toys. Then with some DC Direct and DC Collectibles figures. And here he is, next to some NECA Batman figures. Then, next to some Mattel wrestling figures. And now, next to some Jazzwares AEW wrestling figures. And here he is, next to some Mezco 1/12 cloth soft goods Batman figures. Then, next to some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse Batman figures. And here he is, next to some Mafex Batman figures. Then, next to some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And here he is, next to some SH Figure Arts action figures. And finally, next to some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, this is a pretty cool figure, although I must admit, I was way more interested in making the suited Bruce Wayne than getting the unmasked Batman. The actual figure, the body is fantastic, the sculpting, the texturing, very well done. Articulation is everything you'd expect from a McFarlane DC Multiverse figure, and his cape is just fantastic. The likeness to Ben Affleck is not that good, but I know I've said this a few times. For my personal uses, a generic Bruce Wayne is even better. If I were to rate this guy, I'm probably going to give it a 7 out of 10. And the only reason he gets that high of a rating is because I really like the suited Bruce Wayne I made. I don't have a ton of interest in an unmasked Batman. He does look cool for what he is, though. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys real soon.